Maharaj. He took initiation from Srila Prabhupada in 1974. He took sannyas in 84. And ever since he's been traveling all over the world inspiring devotees in general, but education in ISKCON is his particular area of service, and so he's doing a lot in that area. And he's been my Bhakti Shastri teacher, so I did my Bhakti Shastri under him. So without much further ado, please welcome His Holiness Hanumat Presaka Maharaja.
Yeah, come closer. Krishna, 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 hey.
Krishna, 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 Rakshama.
Krishna, 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 Rakshama.
Krishna, 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 Pahimam.
Krishna, 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 Parimam.
Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshama.
Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshama.
Krishna Kesava, Krishna Kesava, Krishna Kesava, Pahimam.
Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Parimam.
Krishna, 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 Hey.
Krishna, 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 Hey.
Krishna, 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 Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, Hey.
Krishna, 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 Rakshama.
Krishna, 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 Rakshama.
Krishna, Kesava, Krishna, Kesava, Krishna, Kesava, Pahimam.
Krishna, Keshava, Krishna, Keshava, Krishna, Keshava, Parimam.
Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Bhagavan ki jai.
Jai.
Srimati Radharani ki jai.
Jai.
Mukam karoti vachalam, pangum langayate girim, ya kripa tamaham bande, Sri Gurun Didatarinam. Mukam karoti vachalam. Anybody know? Mukam. What does mukam mean?
Face.
Huh?
Face.
Huh? Mute. Mukam, right? Or mouth. Mukam. Yeah,
Mukam means mouth.
mukam karoti. But how do you say mute?
Oh, I see.
Mukam karoti vachalam. A person who cannot speak.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Mouth.
yeah. So, used to say, he's a dumb mute. And I wouldn't say dumb anymore. Sort of like that. Mukam karoti vachalam. A mute person is turned into an eloquent speaker. Okay? Mukam karoti vachalam. Pangun, lame person. Mukam, pangun langayate green. He's sent to cross over hills. Lame person sent to cross over hills. Mukam karoti vachalam. Pangun langayate green. Ya kripa tamaham vande Sri Gurun Didatarinam. So many Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying, by the mercy of the spiritual mastery, a mute person can talk, a lame person is sent to cross over mountains, a blind man can see the stars in the sky, and a dog can cross over the ocean. So here we are, crossing over the ocean to talk with all of you. So when was it? Let's say about 74, 75, maybe 73, 1973. I was at the University of California at Davis. Okay, anybody been there? UC Davis? Okay, you know, okay. The campus quad, right? The quadrangle in the center of the campus. Okay. That was the Whole Earth Day started at UC Davis. UC Davis is agricultural campus, and I was studying there. I started in electrical engineering, but I realized that was pretty limited, so I changed to biological engineering. Did surgery, brain surgery on rats. I realized that was limited, so then I had to change to the cognitive sciences, but then I had to graduate, so I left and started a doctorate in Chicago, Northwestern. And somehow or other I got Donald Campbell. Donald Campbell. You know Donald Campbell? Oh, okay. He was president of the American Psychological Association. Very brilliant person, very nice, you know. Anyway, he was listening to my history and he said, you know, you're a pioneer. He said, what you're doing now is a career track. He said, you're not going to be able to do anything you want to do until you're at least 40 or 50 years old. Oh, God. Okay, yeah. So if you got any manly qualities, you'll leave this and just go straight to Asia. Check it out. What's happening? Sleep under the bushes a few nights in your life. You're a young man. Okay. If you don't find anything, you can come back. You know. It's okay. So I took off from the doctorate. I got a black belt in Okinawan karate. One time I fought a dog. A big dog. It's a Doberman Pinscher. Fortunately, his mother called me back in. And the second round, I may not have won. I may not be here by now. You know. But I learned a lot about prana. You know, how prana works and stuff. You know. Yeah. Okay. And then eventually I met Prabhupada. You know. Okay, that's the story to us. Okay. Actually, I went back and my wife at that time, we were associating, engaged. She was finishing off her program, so I was hanging around the University of California for one more year. And on Whole Earth Day, one brahmachari came selling books to everybody. I think it was Buddhimanta at that point, a famous guy. And so he sold me a Krishna book. You know, it was the big blue ones, solid covers. Yeah, one volume. It was two volumes at that time. They're big, very big, very nice. They have 13.5 type. You know, type sizes. If you're printing for college students, you can do 10-point size. But if you're printing for regular people, maybe 11 point. You know? But when you get above 11 point, your mind starts seeing every word. It's different effect. You know? Otherwise, you're just reading. But above 11, you start to like, you know. So I remember I bought this book. It was a whole incredible endeavor. Okay, I'm going to take the book, $10, which now I guess would be $40 or something, right? You know? So, and then I took it home and I was doing some yoga and I paid the money for it. And so I started, you know, reading it very seriously, the Krishna book. And I was going through, I noticed I would read a sentence and I would go back over and I would like, you know, just like take each word until I got it like a, you know, a little mental icon, if like that. So Prabhupada decided 13-point type. He wanted it big like that. And all the pictures were done, I think maybe by Jadharani or something, and they were very surreal. They were just really strange, you know. So it's a very strange experience. I read a lot of science fiction before. Since I was a child, I was interested in philosophy, culture, all this kind of stuff. And so then I discovered science fiction. I was born in 1948, so it was a very strange time with America right after World War II. So I discovered science fiction and all these strange ideas, and some of them were, you know, they really, who are we, what is life? Some of them were just, you know, cowboy stories in outer space, basically, you know, shoot them all, blah, blah, blah. You win, you lose. Die, monster. Yeah, okay. But other ones were really like what those Clifford Simon, other people like that. Very, what is life and what is the mind and what is the body and what is time? They're very interesting things, even now. I'm trying, you know. So I've read a lot of these strange things. So I'm reading this Krishna book and very seriously and so on. And also a lot of interest in philosophy, religion, these kind of things. So here, this book is talking about monotheism, right? as the ultimate reality. This is the highest thing. And Prabhupada is defending it very logically, discussing all these different aspects like that. And very, very clearly, I never come in contact with such a very cogent, clear idea about what is different philosophies, ideas, and so on, like that. Okay, then simultaneously he's talking about these pastimes of Krishna. Okay, Jarasandha attacked Mathura with 47 million Akshauhinis of elephants and everything else, and always an unbelievable number of things. And then Krishna comes out and starts chopping people up, and then Balaram becomes, can't restrain himself anymore, so he comes out and chops up more people until there's blood floating everywhere. The dead elephants look like? What do the dead elephants look like? Little islands, okay? And all the arms that are chopped off, what do they look like? Don't read the Krishna book? Snakes. All the jewelry looks like pebbles and so on. And it's just outrageous. And the author of the book, who's obviously a very intelligent, very sober person, is presenting the entire thing as if it's this fact, And again, I read a lot of science fiction, but this was like, it was like, not at all. So I was reading it. I'm reading the book, and suddenly I was sitting there, and in the porch in the house at UC Davis, and my mind said, this is either the biggest lie we've ever come in contact with, or it's the absolute truth. And my intelligence said to my mind, if it's an absolute lie or the absolute truth, in either case, it's absolute. it was like a whole, passing on. And I was sitting there holding the book, and I was realizing, this book is, nothing like this book. It's not a different category. The absolute truth is self-evident. When you got it, it's just, So that was one of my experiences before I ever came across devotees. Another one was very strange. Any book distributors here? Anybody sell books on bhakti yogurt to anybody? One buddy was distributing books, and he said, the guy thought he said bhakti yogurt. He said, I love yogurt. Okay. It's all about bhakti yogurt. No. Prabhupada said, he said, we can tell small lies for Krishna that won't later on be detected. The big lies, you've got to be an acharya for that. It was to Hansa Duda, who was here, our GBC secretary in Berkeley for some time. He was telling him, be careful about this. So I got the Krishna book, and the first story in the Krishna book was the story of the Shamantaka jewel, which is about chapter 35 or something like that. So I opened it up, and once upon a time, there was a king named Satrajit within the jurisdiction of Dwarkadam, and he got a jewel. And then the Prabhupada says, and this occurred after the birth of Pradyumna, which occurred in the last chapter. Yeah, okay, this is the first chapter of the book. Okay. So then I'm looking back, and I go back to the front pages, and there's nothing there. Then literally I was looking at the paper on the thread to see if the paper got stuck in like that. Yeah. Then finally I noticed in the back it said Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Volume 2. Okay, so Buddhimanta, had sold me Volume 2 of the Krishna book. First encounter with Krishna and the Hare Krishnas. Yeah. So eventually I found Volume 1 from the library and this kind of stuff and so on. So I read it for 1 year, then I visited the temple in San Francisco. At that time we were at 455 Valencia Street. You know the Mission District in San Francisco? You go, this comes Mission Street, it turns and comes down like that. And that was a very strong Hispanic area and a very, very tough area with bars and people and all kinds of, every kind of, non-four regular principle stuff, kind of lower income Hispanic area. And the Gurjarati Samaj, they had paid, Prabhupada preached to them, they paid the basic down, I think the down payment and so on. But before it was a Hare Krishna temple, was a mortuary, right? Mortuary. And where they would display the dead bodies was where the temple room was. And upstairs in the second floor where we cut the sabji, the floor kind of went down like this to a drain, because that's where they would drain the blood and have, so it was very interesting. Before it was a Hare Krishna temple, it was a mortuary. And there were ghosts. I'm just, And at nighttime, doors would slam in the lobby and people would run across and you couldn't see anybody. You know, yeah, we're all just looking at each other. Well, time to go to bed, I guess. Great, that's why I first became a devotee. Very strange experiences. But then somehow or other, Bhaktidas, our temple president, he bought the property in Berkeley. It was at 234 Stewart Street. There's 6 city lots, one by one. It was an old Mormon church to start with. And then Resurrection City bought it, and we bought it from them. The whole history like that. And so, So I had a lot of experience, with Krishna consciousness and practical application. Then eventually, going left, right, top, bottom, so many things, so many different experiences. At one point, there was a thing called mothers' parties, and this was 14 women being managed by one guy. Yeah, and they were all pure, and everything else was going on, and everything else, and it started spreading all over the place. And they were going out distributing an unbelievable number of books. Our mothers' party was run by Jivananda. We were initiated in the same letter. I was initiated by a letter from Prabhupada, and by Sheshika and Mother. Vatsal and Mother Sashikala, and by Sheshik. He was a brahmachari. They all took second initiation, the same letter I took first initiation. So Vatsal, my big brother. Yeah. We were brahmacharis together there. It was very interesting starting off. Yeah. But then, happened in the temple by Sheshika, was talking about. Yeah. At 78 years old, your short-term memory starts to go. Yeah. Everything, years go, everything else. So he really forces you to start looking internally. Yeah. So we were there by Sheshika. Jivananda. Okay, Jivananda was also initiated the same letter. They sent his name in as Jamie, and Prabhupada sent back a woman's name. Thought it was a girl. So it's a guy. And then he came Jivananda. Okay, interesting. Yeah. So before he was a devotee, he was a criminal. He was an armed bank robber. Right? So when he became a devotee, he became a Sankirtan leader. He wasn't very tall, but he was, anybody here, look at the guy, this guy's tough. So anyway, he told us one time, for example, he and a friend pulled off of the interstate freeway into a gas station. A young guy came out and said, "Do you want gas?" So he said, yeah. He started putting the gas in. He walked around, pulled a shotgun out of the back of the trunk and stuck it in the guy's face and said, "Give me all your money, this is a robbery." And the guy's shaking. At that moment, a highway patrol car pulled off of the freeway with 2 highway patrol officers into it, and then pulling into the gas station, seeing him holding a shotgun in the guy's face. So he tossed it to the guy and said, "I'm just joking, it's not empty." Put his arm around the guy's shoulder and laughing, and the guy said, "Well, mister, you sure scared me." And anyway, the police got their gas and looking out, he guesses okay, and they pulled off. He took the shotgun back and robbed the guy. This is the good old days. So he was our Sankirtan leader, obviously. Yeah. And then they started these mothers' parties, so they ended up with, I think, 14 women, and himself was a Sankirtan leader. If you face the Berkeley Temple, the house on the right, I think that was the house that we bought one at that time. Berkeley Temple. The house on the right we were renting, the house next to that we owned, the one behind we owned it, and one block down we had the same way, double house down there. Up the street we had a 4-plex and one more. This is all at the height of the mothers' parties. Okay. So the biggest collection was Mother Nada. Anybody here speak Spanish? Okay, so you know. Okay, Nada.
Nothing.
Sí, ¿qué significa nada en inglés?
Significa nothing.
Nothing. She was a very intense personality, just like him. Very intense, yeah. So she was going out distributing, and she was coming in back with like $1,400 a day. This is back in 1976, 75. So $1,400 a day. How much would that be now? $1,400 then, 1976, 86, 96, 2006, 2016. We're talking about what? About $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. So one lady going out distributing. They were fired up, enthusiastic, everything else, all day long, energy. And Lord Nityananda was blessing them. The Mother Divya Drishti came in with about 1,000. Most of the girls were coming in about like $400 a day, which would be like that. So all this money, we were making about $1 million a year, about $1 million a year. 300,000 went to the BBT, 300,000 was for just temple maintenance, another 300,000 was for developing all kinds of new projects and preaching and Sankirtan and buying houses, and I was the treasurer. Oh, God. I was a brahmachari. Oh, God. Mothers' parties will come back traveling, they have buckets full of coins, buckets, you know. So I had a machine, I would sit there like, and here I am, you know, PhD candidate in psychology, you know, counting money. I hated money. It was in the lowest level of my occupational interest was money. What was the first job I got? And I was like, yes. So I couldn't do karma yoga. I was forced to do dhyana yoga. I just had to go through it intellectually and say, okay, why should I do this? And what's needed right now, and I can do this, and everything else, and so forth, so on. So we find our place, right? Yeah, everybody's different. It's your karma yoga, but then Krishna may say, hey, I want to put you on a higher level. Krishna left Vrindavan, right? Right? Yeah, Krishna left Vrindavan, okay. And he never came back. But he told the gopis he'd come back, right? So is Krishna a liar? Why? What happened?
Actually, he came back.
He came back? Well, something even more intense than that. Come up with a better answer, better than that he came back.
No, he came back.
No, a better answer than that.
He never left.
You got it. Yeah, that's why he's architects. I see your engineer. He never left. Who left? Who left Vrindavan?
Vasudeva Krishna.
Vasudeva and Balaram. Shankarshan. Yeah, Vasudeva and Balaram and Shankarshan portions went there. And if you look historically at archaeology, you'll see all over the world there was the cult of Vasudeva and Sankarshan. In Peru, Mexico, different places. They were known. That's how they were known. Vasudeva and Sankarshan. So in what form did Krishna stay? Mr. Bhaktivedanta candidate. In what form did they stay? Anybody know? Sanskrit? Lila Shmarana Swarup. Yeah, Krishna left his Lila Smarana Swarup. Yeah, because he wanted to give the Brijbasis something more intimate. They're associating with him. They're seeing him. So many things. Oh, who does that? Yeah. But he wanted to give them something that would be with them constantly, intimately. Shmaranam, remembrance of Krishna's pastime, they're alive, right? It's not that you remember them. No, they're always growing and changing and all these kind of things. So he gave them that, and they could then meditate on him and so on. You know? So Krishna has so many forms, expansions, all these kind of things. You know? So we somehow or other, I go through all the details, incredible, with going through the mothers' parties and different eras in ISKCON, different things happen. You can see it's the whole history of religion, the history of Buddhism, the history of Christianity. Okay, and then Prabhupada left his body, which was a very interesting experience. Yeah. And there was big confusion. It says that in the story of Paranjana. Paranjana becomes a woman. When her husband left, Prabhupada says always, when the great Acharya leaves, there's always confusion. Then the sincere senior disciples put everything together and start organizing. You know. So when Prabhupada left, the idea was that Prabhupada named many people. Okay, these people can initiate, right? So everybody thought that means we all have to become Sampradaya Acharyas with Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Gaur Kishwaras Babaji, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. So somebody grabbed the Vishnu title right away, and somebody else grabbed the Hari Kirtan title, and somebody else became what? Bhagavat Prad, and we know. Yes, everybody had a pod title. The FBI was really disturbed with that, you know. FBI said, first you have your civil names, then you got your initiated names, and now you got your different names. You guys are just too confusing, yeah. But as far as we can tell, you're not, we're an organization. Yeah. They had three FBI agents living in the Boston Temple. Yeah. Temple President was really happy because these guys were really, austere and, everything else, and going out distributing books. And after about, they were there for 3 weeks, and one of them was waiting in the office for him, and he said, Prabhu, myself and the other two guys were actually FBI agents. The other two have already left. We were supposed to stay here for 2 months, but God, you guys are so austere. We're FBI agents and stuff. We asked, hey, nothing's happening. Can we leave? And he said, yeah, okay. Go investigate, Fidel Castro or something, So we're going to hear the FBI agents, okay, yeah. So then we have this whole era of understanding Guru Tattva. So ISKCON has been a learning process, understanding relationships and men and women and divine intervention, all these kind of things. So Hansaduta came and very, very intense personality, but really incredible. In many ways, he was perfect for Berkeley because he was the complete avadut, completely avaduta. He grew up during World War II and everything else, and that, he grew up in all this tough experience and self-determined, take care of his family and so on. So another very interesting experience. And myself, a lot of formation. When I was initiated, Prabhupada already had like about 1,200 disciples or something. So I was, 1,213th son. Although Prabhupada, through Krishna, he knew people. It was amazing. So my actual Bani association with Prabhupada, like physically, directly that was through Bhakti Swarup Damodar Swami, Hansaduta, and Jayananda. Because when I joined, Jayananda was there, and these were very incredible personalities. Hansaduta was amoral. He wasn't immoral. He was amoral. You know the difference? Immoral means you don't follow. Amoral means you decide for yourself. Whatever happens, you don't follow the mores of the culture and stuff. He learned that during World War II, after World War II. And the government said, don't worry, there's enough bread for everybody, stand in line, be calm. But he figured out right away there wasn't. So he stuck up and stole 3 pieces of bread and ran away, and one for his brother, one for his sister, and split one with his other mother of him. So he was an interesting person, his history. So, Hansaduta, And so he told us, for example, in the beginning, he was there with Kirtanananda when we had the first temples in New York. So they bought a bowling alley, old abandoned bowling alley. They were cleaning the whole place without making the temple, and having Sunday feasts when they were starting. And they would make gulabjamums, right? Gulabjamums. And these were for the guests. Devotees could have one each, only one gulabjamum, and then the guests could have one. So Hansaduta was there with Kirtanananda, and he wanted to have another gulabjamum. And Kirtanananda said, no, only one each. He said, well, look, I'm going to go over and ask Swamiji if I can have 2 more gulabjamums. And you'll see he'll say yes and nod his head. So he walked across the room, and the feast was coming kind of to a close, and he said to Prabhupada, he said, Swamiji, would you like to have some kirtan? And Prabhupada nodded his head, yeah. So we went from Jivananda to Hansaduta in Berkeley. Just looking at me now. This is my formation. Yeah. And really incredible programs. So many fantastic programs. Now I learned so much. This is parampara. Okay. We look at there's the moon. Okay. And you want to see the moon better. What do? Use a typewriter.
Telescope.
Yeah. Okay. And what do you do with the telescope? What does a telescope look like? Is it square?
Tube.
Okay, it's a tube. Okay, I've got a tube here. So what do I do with that? Lick it? I smell it? What do you do?
See through.
You look into it.
How? Like this?
Through the lens.
Like this, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And what are you seeing? You're seeing a piece of glass, right? Okay, here was. But that piece of glass is focusing on compound telescope. It's focusing on another piece of glass. See my analogy? And that one's focusing on, yeah. So that, I heard from Prabhupada's lips when he came to the temple in 1975, and now you can hear from my lips. And now you're beginning to understand me. This guy, what's he like? Reporter asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, what will happen to your temples when you die? And Prabhupada said, I will never die. I will live forever in my books. Vehemently, So you take the books up and start reading. There's so many stories about this, people having a direct experience. It's through a via media, but you're wearing glasses, but the experience is direct. So that's what we're trying to do. So that I knew Hansaduta. knew Bhakti Swarup Damodar. I knew Jayananda. And when they said Prabhupada did this, Prabhupada did that, Prabhupada was like that, Prabhupada wouldn't, then it was a very, very nice, very, very good connection to Prabhupada. Then also I had the books. When Prabhupada left his body, big argument about initiation. But one of the things Prabhupada said was, don't change anything, just keep everything the way it is. Okay. So my initiation, okay, my temple president, Bhaktidas, recommended me to Prabhupada. I never talked to Prabhupada. No, never talked to him. But I met him sometimes in different experiences like that. But anyway, temple president, Bhaktidas wrote a letter recommending people like that. Okay. Nitai was Prabhupada's secretary at that time, and as far as I can understand, he took the names from the Rama Sahasranam or something like that, because most of the people in the letter all had Rama names, Hanumat Presaka, Lankesha. It's like, oh yeah. Okay. So he selected the name, and probably looked at it and said, Jamie, maybe a girl's name, this guy, to attach to women. Yeah. Okay. So I was recommended by my temple president, and then Prabhupada, they would send the beads to Prabhupada to chant on. Okay, Prabhupada's in Tokyo, so the beads went to Tokyo. Prabhupada left and had gone to Delhi. They sent the forward the beads to Delhi. Prabhupada left Delhi and was already back where the beads had originated in New York. So Prabhupada said, this is ridiculous. These people can chant on the beads. Okay, there was, I think, what's his name? Not Bhavananda. Jayatirtha. I don't know who he is. Anyway, several senior devotees who are all very famous and all. Harikesh, Bhavananda, Jayatirtha. Maybe like 6 people. They all authorized to chant on the beads. And so my temple president recommended me, and my name was selected by Nitai with Prabhupada's approval, and Jayatirtha chanted on my beads. So am I a Prabhupada disciple?
Yeah.
So now, how has anything really changed? The same process is completely applicable. One lecture, Prabhupada says, do not accept anybody but Uttamadhikari as guru. And about 5 minutes later he says, I have never claimed to be Uttamadhikari. That same lecture. Then he finishes off and he says, so if you engage in devotional service, all of these things will become very clear. Yeah. Who is the personification of Guru Tattva? Huh? Balaram or Nityananda. Yeah. Is he static or is he increasing in his qualities?
Increasing.
He's increasing. So Guru Tattva is ever expanding, ever increasing. Is there Guru Tattva in Vrindavan?
Yes.
Yeah. Does Guru Tattva regulate the relationship between Radha and Krishna? Does Balaram regulate the relationship between Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan? Ooh, now we're getting to Bhakti Sarvabhauma. Yes. Yeah. Krishna's being captured by the slimy Kaliya. Okay, everything else there. And all the Brijbasis, they hear, they come down to the bank of the river, and Mother Yashoda and everybody else are going to enter into the river and save Krishna, because he's just a little baby, right? Yeah. So they're in their bhava, their ecstasy. Balaram sacrifices his bhava to be guru. He stops them all, because if they go in the river, they're all going to die. It's like his arms expand. Okay, yeah, Mahavdauji. He has authority because he's a Kshatriya. They're not Kshatriyas. Yeah. So he stops everybody. So he's sacrifices his ecstasy in that point to be guru, the Brijbasis and everything else. Radha and Krishna meet for the first time, very small. Okay, do you like strawberry ice cream? Oh, I love strawberry ice cream. It's like Radha and Krishna meeting for the first time, and everything is just so incredible and whatever else. And then Balaram is thinking, this is going a little fast. Krishna, I think it's time to take the cows home now. And Radha, oh, Rama, can you stay a little longer? It's okay, we'll come back tomorrow. I promise. So it's there. Balaram and Guru Tattva is unlimited. It's unlimited. What we're trying to do is get a practical knowledge. Devotional service is not a matter of imaginative ecstasy or sentimental speculation. It is practical activity in the foreground of spiritual life. Obviously, that's a quote, right? Yeah, that's the thing. Practical activity. So we need a practical understanding of what is Diksha Guru, what is Shiksha Guru, what is Parshada Guru, what is first initiation, what is second initiation. And then we can see down the line, okay, first initiation, you know what that is. What is first initiation?
Harinam initiation.
What is second initiation?
Brahmanical initiation.
Or Dvija, because it also goes to a ministry, okay. What is third initiation?
Sannyas.
Sannyas. Okay, anybody want to take sannyas today? say goodbye to the ladies. Surprise! Surprise! She's really smiling over there. Kind of done. Probably would do this. I mean, stories like that. I can tell you stories like, yeah. Fourth initiation, fifth initiation, 1,232nd initiation. You know what that is? 1,232nd initiation. That's when you're a Manjari in Goloka Vrindavan, and Krishna, for the first time, you get a cookie from Krishna's lips that he bit from. Yeah, little girl, right? Krishna takes and bites out of the cookie and gives it to her. Is this heavy? If you're a 12-year-old girl, 8-year-old girl, yeah, it's really heavy. Krishna's, yeah. Most of the girls, when they see Krishna, they just pass out. It's just like, ah! He's handsome, he's beautiful, he has friends, his daddy's rich, everything you could possibly. But one girl can control him. Who's that? Yes, Kuda fellow. Yeah. Get behind me. Yeah. So there's no limit. You were being initiated into, more and more intimate things and so on. Understanding Guru taught us. So a little bit of some ideas here, yeah. And eventually, the Hansaduta also went his way, and then Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj came, and then I got involved with the Bhaktivedanta Institute, which again is very much my nature, the academic nature, and it settled into that. And then from him, we started our own North American Institute for Oriental and Classical Studies. And with that, we've been doing programs, because the Bhaktivedanta Institute is focused on science, hard science. I did that. But my real nature is cultural anthropology. So then we're traveling all over the world doing programs. And I was supposed to die 2024, December 23rd, but I got on heart medication. So now they all say you're going to live for 100 years. Okay, yeah. So now we're starting to develop different programs. What's really developing now, Ayurveda. People are really becoming interested in Ayurveda and the philosophy behind it. So we're doing programs with the government of India and Peru, Shastric education, with Bhakti William Suchek. They're almost ready, right? Start Bhakti Sarvabhauma. But we really have to work on it very seriously, because these are not just like theoretical knowledge now. How many people in ISKCON? How many members in ISKCON? 1 million members. That's not friends and supporters and people who would, How many members, Mormons in the world? How many members in the Mormon church? 17 million. But and so many points, we stand completely together on things. We'll support you, whatever. Okay, 17 million Mormons are there to fight with the devil. The Hare Krishnas show up. Led by the GBC. Okay, you guys take the left flank. Okay, yeah, we got you covered. So many points. And this is interfaith dialogue, right? Starting to figure out the areas that we agree on things. What is our disagreement with Pushti Marg? Does Pushti Marg believe that life comes from matter? No. Does Pushti Marg believe that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Lord Narayan? No. What does Pushti Marg believe that we're different from us and go from Gujarat?
Krishna is a baby.
Huh?
Krishna is a baby.
Yes. See, our argument with Pushti Marg is, who loves Krishna more, his girlfriend or his mommy?
Mother Yashoda.
She says Mother Yashoda loves you more.
Pushtimar. I think for Pushtimar.
Okay. And who is the greatest gopi? Chandravali. Yeah, these are, these are things. Yeah, okay, they kind of orient you, but hey, this is way down the line, and so on. So I'm quite happy to eat anything offered in the Pushtimar temple to Baby Gopal. In fact, when I'm traveling, we've been looking for them. Everything else is too hot for me, so trying to find a Pushtimar temple because they're cooking for Baby Krishna. Yeah. So. But now, very serious this time. We're becoming very powerful. Abraham Lincoln said, some people can survive through adversity. They can go ahead and maintain their principles in adversity. But he said, if you really want to test somebody, give them money and power. How many people here have money and power? Oh, yeah. Relative to, in American society, where are you? Socioeconomic group. Bottom 5%? No. Top 5%? We're Indians. Indians are the richest minority. They surpass the Jews. Yeah. So what are you doing with it? I was talking with Nityananda, a very senior devotee in Dallas. He said we're falling into the same trap that we fell into South Africa. Same trap that we fell into Fiji. We're becoming powerful, we're becoming organized, but we're not taking care of the people around us. Yeah? We're not being conscious of that. Silicon Valley, I think you're working at it. And people recognize this. Oh, they're, so get out of here. Yeah. So different problems. Jivananda was presenting problems, Vasudeva was presenting problems, and now another problem. We're becoming powerful, we're becoming Christian. We have to know our philosophy. Chaitanya Charitamrita is only 500 years old, full of details about how to deal with these things, what kind of problems are there. You can find them in your own character, you can find them in your society, and so many, Should women become gurus? Oh my God. Yeah. But Chaitanya Charitamrita, then we find that we can solve these problems. If we don't solve them, we'll become a different organization. Maybe we'll become an Indra-loka organization. We'll know about these things, but we won't follow them. And everybody will go back to this, become Indra and these kind of things. And that will be one more branch of the Gaudiya, one more failure. Look at the history of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. There's so many deviations, so many. And some big, some little. What's the word? Saki Beki? Anybody here know Saki Beki? He knows. He's good. I have Bhakti Vedanta, by the way. I didn't want it. By the way, I'm Bhakti Vedanta. My Shishika said we should use the titles. He's the Sankirtan guy. So that's ridiculous. Bhakti Vedanta H.P. Swami. It's stupid. I figured it out, what did you, I need to use it. I put Hanumat Presaka Swami, parentheses, BH.V, close parentheses. Okay, I can handle that. But that should mean something. It should have significance and so on. The Catholic Church has very powerful intellectual tradition. Very good. Many good things, So many groups, Mamanuja. So, we need to develop so many areas. Okay. So what is Saki Beki, Mr. Bhakti Bhai Baba?
So it comes from Saki Veshi.
Okay.
But it's a corrupted word, Saki Beki, dressing like a gopi.
Yes, and what is their philosophy? They're Gaudiya Vaishnavas.
Yeah.
You don't know?
I do.
Oh my God, okay. This is why you're not Bhakti Vedanta yet.
Yeah.
It says that we should follow in the footsteps of the gopis, right? That's Lord Chaitanya's philosophy. So the Guru decided that all the sannyasis should wear saris and put on makeup. I'm not kidding in the least. He said they would go out dressed in saris, makeup, and they would take the gopis. Rupa Goswami is saying, no, that's internally defined friend. Externally, you follow the austerities of Rupa Goswami and everything else. Okay. Oh God, I guess I'll mention this. Some of them are so strange, all the ladies would have to cover their ears before I started talking about them. Yeah, this one is kind of like marginal. Okay, this is I want to mention.
Yeah.
We won't mention that one. It's a little far out. Okay. No, but it's just that's why we became known as a sex cult in Bengal. There's a sex cult, because there's so many strange people reviewing strange things, but some of them aren't that big. There's small deviations which have, weakened the potency and so on. So very important time, just distributing books, and distributing books by encouraging people to study them, right? Yeah, encouraging people to study books. That's one way to distribute books. Maybe about a year ago, Vaisheshika said, I distribute books everywhere. You try and distribute them where they do the most good. I felt very flattered by that. Yeah. The Bhaktivedanta Institute, that was more the focus of not distributing so many books, but just giving them to people who would like, read them and so on. Yeah. So we both, Prabhupada said, told Subramana, every scientist you make a devotee is worth 1,000 ordinary people. But our experience is it takes 1,000 times longer to make one scientist into a devotee. Yeah. So whether you go out and distribute 1,000 books to ordinary people or you distribute one book to a scientist, it's the same thing. But it's just everybody's different. You have your nature. Every salesman has their own technique. So you got to find out what it is and just how to get Krishna out of it. So, okay, so any koi prashna, huh? May Hindi seek raha. Cigarette, mat pijiyega. So, any questions? Prabhupada says if you don't have any questions, it means you're happy in this nasty place. So are you all happy in this nasty place? I'm sure he has a question. What is the most common question?
So,
Okay.
thank you, Maharaj, for the nice lecture. So these deviants, how did they come about? Is it like slow deviations you talked about? If you can mention a little bit of like how did they come about? Is it like some people they got a perverted notion of what Krishna and Radha was, or do you have any idea on that?
Yeah, well, individually, each one of them, or the general principle of deviation.
General principle.
Okay. This kind of goes right back to the point of origin of the jiva. Because that was the first deviation. Yeah. It goes back to free will. Yeah. It goes back that we are sat, chit,
Ananda.
huh? Yeah. So we come up with ideas, and we're seeking happiness, right? Yeah. So we're generating the material world that becomes how I can become happy by using my intelligence, to change the environment. And so everybody's different, so therefore we can expect as many deviations as there are jiva souls who deviate from the fundamental principle of serving Krishna. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. my friend Dayadara Das, we looked the same, it was bizarre. I would go into the photocopy store in Berkeley, and they would try and give me his stuff, and I said, no, that guy was taller than me. Yeah, he was taller than me. He was a PhD in neuroembryology. Okay, embryos have neurons. But he was going to, wanted to take initiation from Sridhar Maharaj, Prabhupada's governor in Navadvip. He asked him, he said, Maharaj, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself came and spread Krishna consciousness all over his followers. But within a few generations, even very quickly, it was already covered, so many things had happened. How is this possible? And he said, Sridhar Maharaj laughed and said, Baba, this is the material world. He said, what to speak of finding something spiritual here? It's very, very hard to find anything good in the material world. So, yeah, there's deviations of the natural, more natural than purity. And we're very fortunate, right? Yeah. So, yes. Yeah. I'll get a microphone. The microphone is coming. Yeah. Okay. Turn up my volume here.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj.
What is your good name?
My name is Krishna Sakhadas.
That's nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Maharaj, how do I know that I'm not, or how do I be careful that I don't follow any deviation and Yeah, that is.
Okay. I answered this someplace else recently. Were you there? You weren't there. Boy. In the fundamental principle of mathematics is if you state the problem clearly enough, the answer is obvious. That's kind of like, so your question contains the basic problem. The question is, how can I know, how can I avoid becoming deviated? Okay. The thing is here, you think you can do it yourself independently. How can I avoid becoming deviated and fall down? Right? You cannot do anything independently. One devotee said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I'm the most fallen. And he said, you're not the most anything. Yeah. That's it. Okay, I can be independent of mommy and daddy. I can do this, I can do that. I can know independently. I can do independently. I can, be happy independently. That's the fundamental difference and so on. The fundamental basic principle is that basically we're like 3-year-old children. Okay? If everybody over 3 years old in the world dies, how long will the 3-year-old children live? 1 day? Yeah. By 3 years old, okay, honestly, I use that. You're experts. By 3 years old, can a child operate a hot air popcorn maker?
Nope.
No? 4 years old? 5 years old? They're pretty easy. 5 years old? Yeah, then you start. Okay, I never even know. Okay. By 3 years old, I mean, you can maybe get some stuff from the, from the refrigerator, and yeah, you're not going to die within 1 day. You're going to 2 years, and you're going to find other 3-year-old children and huddle together and just cry, and you've got some intelligence, maybe more intelligence than a dog, not as much intelligence as a chimpanzee. Chimpanzee may come and save you. Chimpanzee has the intelligence of about a 5-year-old child, but you can be a 30-year-old 5-year-old child, with a lot of experience and stuff. Your ability, that's pretty good. You can learn languages. How many words can an elephant learn? Everybody knows. Okay. Psychology. 400. It's quite a lot of words. Yeah. So anyway, that's who we are. We're marginal Shakti. We have intelligence. We have free will. We can do stuff. And ultimately we have transcendental potency, Ananda Shakti, just like Krishna's. Yeah. But quantity is small, but it's just so Krishna, when we do stuff, Krishna, really, we can be the most important people in the world if we're, So basically we have two choices. We have two big sisters, and we can take shelter of one big sister or the other big sister. And their names are Radha and Maya. Radha is always trying to encourage us to do good things and everything else, but if we take shelter of Maya, then she's always encouraging us to steal cookies, lie, all this nonsense. Yeah, and that's her job to get us entangled. So that what we do is we recognize that Krishna is trying to help me, right? He sent the Bhagavatam. That's our main thing. Bhagavatam. Every single psychological circumstance you can encounter is in Srimad Bhagavatam. I heard that from Hansaduta. You can judge the second lens there. He said, Prabhupada said, every single psychological circumstance you can encounter in Srimad Bhagavatam. What was Daksha's problem? What was Daksha's danger? Was he a sinful person? No. What was his problem?
Pride.
Huh?
Pride.
His problem was he was very, very successful at Vishnu Yagna. What is the Vishnu Yagna now? Book distribution, Sankirtan, right? Yeah. So he was very expert at it. You know any people like this? Very, very expert book distributors, but then they start to become offensive to devotees, right? I'm so great. It's a danger. Watch out for. Become very, very, very successful in this, and then, you start, nobody in this is gone like me. Yeah, it's okay. You read the book, you see the story, you go, hey, yeah. Okay. Pregnancy of Diti in the evening. Was she a bad girl? What was her problem? What was her fall down? What made her fall down? She didn't want a gross relationship with Kashyapa, but what she wanted was,
Children.
yeah, it's more subtle. And what was the situation? Why was she upset?
She was upset because the other wives of Kashyapa had children,
Yeah.
but only Diti.
Okay,
didn't
once
have.
upon a time, I have my theater background. Up in the Vancouver temple, there's this big road on the road there, then there's Grihastha houses, down below is an open area in the temple. Okay, so every Janmashtami, Madhua comes there for the festival of India. They have a whole Rath Yatra the week before, and he stays 1 week, and the next week is Janmashtami. And they have to have 3 stages. It's so big outside. The mayor comes, everybody else. It's a big, gigantic festival. So for the week or so before, Dudidhar Maharaj was going out with all the brahmacharis and everybody else and just distributing thousands of flyers and kirtan. And so many people come back from the provinces. Canada is a place, a very provincial place with towns out there, all kinds of places like that. So there's one couple, Krishna Das and Devahuti, and they've been out there in the province setting up a preaching center, doing everything so well. And they both went real group in ISKCON, they both grew up with people stuff and so on. So they got back, and everybody has a tent. They set their tents up in the middle of this area in between. It's really very, very colorful and big tents and so on. So anyway, every day, Krishna Das is going out with Dudidhar Maharaj and all the other people and preaching and distributing books. And Devaki hadn't been back for maybe like 3 years. She saw all of her old friends from Gurukula, right? And all of them had babies, brown babies, yellow babies, what color colors we get, black babies, white babies. And she didn't have a baby. Okay, yeah. Oh, you want to hold my baby? Yeah. So after 3 days of this, Krishna Das came back to the tent, and Devaki was waiting for him. Yeah. You only marry me because your guru told me you had to. You don't love me. We're never going to have kids. Yeah. Yes, we are. Okay, prove it right now. Does it sound like a familiar story? Yeah. So they had 2 monsters. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is the story of pregnancy of Diti in the evening. It fits into ISKCON 100%. We're becoming gods and goddesses, and it's not you can see it's a subtle thing. And all of a sudden, just then Devaki realizes, hey, oh, wait a second, on second thought, yeah, let's, pray to God, do everything else. I don't want to have Hiranyakasipu and Hiranyakasipu. I know they're powerful and everything else. And the whole story goes on with Diti and non-Diti and everything else. So you see, studying Srimad Bhagavatam, chanting Hare Krishna, and then follow the regular principles and associate with devotees. That's how to avoid the mad elephant offense. And then you'll know. Krishna in the heart will tell you, but that's what's going to happen. It's not that you're going to figure it out. Krishna will keep helping you. Yeah, again and again. Wow. Yeah. So yeah. Wait a second. I'm going to wipe up the microphone here. Okay, yeah, I got it. Yeah.
So Maharaj, then the deviations we talk about, right? So many, they follow also all the scriptures and associate with devotees, but still, like why it doesn't happen for them that Krishna from heart doesn't help, or like there are deviation we know where they also follow the scriptures, associate with devotees, but still like there is some deviation. Why would that?
Okay. There's 18,000 verses in Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Yeah. And there's, okay, let's look at Daksha again. Look at Daksha. Okay, yeah. But was he associating with devotees? Yeah. All the Brahmins and everybody else, they were all doing Vishnu Yagna, right? Everything else like that. Was he following the regular principles? Yeah. So then that's why, again, as we're going through this, Bhakti Baba, the first 2 cantos, and we were doing this, making this study, and it was, okay, formal, academic, but we began to see that we could understand all these things and everything else in the first cantos, the stories and stuff. But as we started to go higher, we started having serious discussions about why did they do this, why did they do that, because it starts to become more and more subtle. You go on like that. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to go all the way to the 10th canto to go back to the spiritual world. Basically, if you go to the 3rd canto, you'll mean by that 2nd canto, you're probably going to go to Mahavishnu Loka and be out of the material world. And then from there you can make further progress from there. So 10th canto is Goloka. But before that there's Ayodhya, before that there's Vishnu, Vaikuntha, and before that there's Mahavishnu. All. So there's so many subtle problems. The Brihad Bhagavatamrita, right? He's describing one after another. They're leaving the material world, and then Bhumi, the 7 layers. Bhumi is worshipping Varaha, and she invites Gopal Kumar to stay with her and worship Varaha forever. Right? What's wrong with that? But he's feeling there's some subtle thing there. And these are the subtle coverings, right? The subtle form of earth, the subtle form of space, the subtle form of, So we have to go through all these. Wow, impossible? Well, maybe not in this lifetime. Maybe we'll make a lot of progress, and suddenly we'll wake up and we're with Nimai in Nadia, another universe. Is that good enough for you? Yeah, I never do. Okay, so who's gonna be Chankazi? Okay, who's gonna be Hiranya? You start looking at people and you go, yeah. What's the name? Devananda Pandit. Yeah. Devananda Pandit. No. You know him? Yeah. What was his problem? Was he a bad guy? Very good. But he was a little arrogant and stuff. He knew Srimad Bhagavatam and Nimai. Very famous. Devananda Banda, So they're very subtle problems, And as you're going on, you begin to recognize these things in people. You see, like, you're going to Srimad Bhagavatam advancing and stuff. Our first initiation, I've seen it, ISKCON is like, there's a lot of problems and everything else, however you look at it and so on. But pretty much as far as I can tell, I was ready to leave ISKCON twice. I mean, the whole formal institutional structure, things are going wrong, but let me investigate it seriously. And my serious investigation was no. In the end, okay. I mean, following Prabhupada and everything else, but this institution, some point we were, all this thing with the GBC deviation, the others parties, there were real deviations there and stuff, and people were supporting them and stuff, and other people saying these are wrong. How can you say that? The GBC has approved this. Out of the temple. So, it's a test. And then we go on and we begin to recognize higher problems and stuff. But always, that's the point. The fundamental principle is that Krishna is out to help us. That Radharani ultimately is more tricky, more powerful, and than Durga. And she'll keep us here, but Radharani is out to cause us mercy to help us, and so on. And so, trying to help, and hope against hope, Krishna's going to figure some way to get me out of this mess, And how can I help? Nodding his head. So now we hail cattle. Okay, 1, 2. How? What time is it?
It's 8:07.
Okay, how long do we go? Huh?
Another 10, 15, 20 minutes.
7 days and 7 nights. Okay. Here's the one. This is Shakespeare. You go on as long as you go on answering questions. I will go on answering them. Okay? Lay on, and damn be him who first calls hold enough. Thomas said you could study Shakespeare. What is your good name?
My name is Mukharavinda Das.
Oh, Mukhara?
Mukharavinda.
Oh,
This is the host.
oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
I'm shadow host. Maharaj, like today's topic, we were trying to discuss about how Srimad Bhagavatam is complete.
Yeah.
So maybe if you'd like to, we have the slideshow also that you wanted to present.
Oh, yeah. Okay. How is complete? Oh my God. Okay, that's the Bhaktivedanta Library. Okay, here we go. I have my family is, my heritage is German, right? Yeah. For Germans, there are 2 colors. black and white. Sometimes red. Okay. Now we Americans add a third color. Gray. Yeah. That's why we're different than the Germans. Germans, black or white, or sometimes red. You go out and look at all the automobiles. Black, white, gray, and sometimes red. You don't see green cars, you don't see yellow cars, you don't see purple cars, you don't see polka dot cars, because North America is dominated by Northern German consciousness. It's a very systematic kind of thing. So reading Prabhupada's books and trying to understand them and everything else, I was trying to develop this system, that system, work with other devotees. And then finally we began to sort things out. And then you find reading again and again, and Prabhupada says, we can note that this is happening. So Prabhupada doesn't give this German organization, but he says it's there and stuff. And so for some people, especially your software engineer and all these kind of things, okay. So here's the graphic, okay. The Bhakti Vedanta library, all the books are there, okay. At the bottom it says Vedas. Vedas contain all things knowable to man. Vastu Veda, Ayurveda, Danda Veda, Gandharva Veda. You got it there? Okay. Everything, it's all there. Okay. The Vedas are Shruti, right? Smriti is stuff which the sages heard and they made something up. And some people don't accept Shruti. Do we have anything in the Bhakti Vedanta library which is Shruti? Huh? You can answer that. It's cheating. Isopanishad is the only thing we have. The Bhagavad Gita, the other Puranas, these are all Smriti. And so I think that's maybe the reason that Prabhupada translated it and published it, so we have something which, we can base ourselves on and say, yes, we have Shruti. So many purports Prabhupada says, but this is better explained in Bhagavatam and Gita, like that. So Isopanishad is part of the, which Veda? Yajurveda? It's a Yajurveda Upanishad and so on. Okay. Then after that, we have the Gita Upanishad. Bhagavad Gita that we don't have Bhagavad Gita, we have Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, the Bhagavad Gita is about this thick, our book's about this thick. Because in the purports and everything else, Prabhupada takes it a long way beyond Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita really talks about Prakriti, Atma, and Paramatma. It doesn't present God as a person or as Goloka. A little bit, some things. But really it's coming to the point of Paramatma. ABCs. What is matter? Who are we? Are we different? These things. Srimad Bhagavatam starts off historically and philosophically where the Bhagavad Gita stops. It's after Kurukshetra, and it starts to introduce Krishna as a person. But it says at Hokshaja, Achyuta, Paramatma, but Prabhupada translates it as Krishna. The second chapter of Bhagavad Gita says, if you follow these rules and regulations, Prabhupada's translation, if you follow all these rules and regulations and everything else, you will go to the spiritual world. So what is the Sanskrit for the spiritual world, the kingdom of God? Brahma Nirvana. Yeah. Buddhist is going to love that, right? Somebody translating Brahma Nirvana as the kingdom of God. Yeah. So that's what Prabhupada's doing. Okay. So Bhagavatam also starts off, it's like, taking up from the Upanishads. First two cantos are Krishna's lotus feet. Then it goes up progressively to the 10th canto, the smiling face. Ete Shamsa Sakal Pumsam, Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. Is trying to establish that of all these incarnations and energies and everything else, Krishna is the cause of all causes. It's not Narayan. Krishna is not the incarnation of Narayan, the Hindu love god. Progressively going through all of his energies, all these things, and establishing that Krishna, not the Purusha avatars, not the Lila avatars, not the Manvantars, not the Brahman, And very, very systematic. We haven't got time to go into the details here, but it's extremely well organized, extremely systematic. You can do it broad. We have a very beautiful graphic of how the chapters are connected, the cantos. We have acronyms for each one. Most of the Puranas, you can't tell what they're talking about. They start with one subject, they go back around to another subject and everything else. But the Bhagavatam is very clear from the very beginning, and it goes and progressively shows it one after another. Most of the Puranas do not have commentaries, major commentaries. Srimad Bhagavatam has 140 major commentaries. After that, I think it's the Skanda Purana with 70. Yeah, Srimad Bhagavatam is in a class by itself. This has been quoting from big professors now, Dr. Rao, Radhika Raman, everybody else. It says that the Puranas are beautiful like stars in the sky. So beautiful, so proud of themselves. Until the moon of Srimad Bhagavatam comes up. And they say, well, he's bigger than we are. That is not an exaggeration. For the beauty of the poetry, for the depth of the philosophy, for the sophistication of the grammar, Srimad Bhagavatam is in a class by itself. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so there's the Bhaktivedanta Library. What is Chaitanya Charitamrita? There? Yeah. It's a Srimad Bhagavatam class. Lord Chaitanya is showing us, right, how to understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the heart of everything. The first Upanishad Bhagavad Gita are introducing it. Chaitanya Charitamrita is teaching it to us. What is the Krishna book? What's the relation to the Bhagavatam? Krishna book, what relation to the Bhagavatam is the Krishna book? Summary of the 10th canto. What relation is Light of the Bhagavat to the Bhagavatam?
Description of water.
Oh, thank God, I know them. Or two. My whole world changes. She knows the answer. He knows the answers too. It's one chapter in the 10th canto. Okay. What is nectar of, what is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, nectar of devotion? All the books are there. It's a summary all the way from karma all the way up past the Bhagavatam, these things. Nectar of devotion, the complete science of devotion. What is nectar of instruction? Huh? Yeah. But it's a summary of Upadeshamrita. It's a summary of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is a complete science, the whole Bhaktivedanta library. Prabhupada said, read this book 6 times, Bhakti, Nectar of Devotion, and all of your questions will be answered. Not that you say, what is this? What is this? Go around again and again. And Nectar of Instruction is a summary of everything in just 11 verses. Yeah. So you see, they all fit together. The life and teachings of Lord Chaitanya is the introduction to the Bhagavatam. So the Bhagavatam is the heart. And after that, we take different sections and collections, and they're all related to it for different people, different circumstances, and so on. That's my point. So when you're selling somebody a set of Srimad Bhagavatam, we were at a home program, right? And I like this, not maybe 1/3 of the people. So a new guy had come, younger fellow, and the person's had all the books. So I was taking the books out, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, and putting them there. And all in 13 Bhagavad Gita lectures, and volumes of Bhagavad Gita lectures, 7 volumes, room conversations, letters, they're all stacked out there. Some of them hadn't been opened, of course. They're all stacked there, and all there. And then I said it, and some people say, Prabhupada didn't give you everything. And this new voice said, thank God. I was trying to read all of Prabhupada's books, understand them thoroughly, and I heard Prabhupada say, in 100 years, you cannot understand all these books thoroughly. Yeah. Nobody can take everything the spiritual master is offering. Yeah. So but this is it. And different people. The whole Bhagavad Gita is summarized in 4 verses. What are they? What verse numbers?
10.8 to 10.11.
Huh?
8 to 10.8 to 10.11.
10, 8, and I'm going to make you remember this so you never forget. 10.8 is 108. Yeah. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pavartate iti mapavizante mam buddhabhava samangita. How's it go? Machita magata Nisham satata yuktanam Machita kuti purvakam Gami buddham Buddha yoga no, before that. No. Anyway, did you look at that stuff? Huh? What's 10.9? 10.9. Machita magata panam bodhiyantas parashparam katam chamam nitya tushanti charman isha Tesham Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Kriti Purvakam Dudami Bodhi Yogam Tam Jena Mamapayantate. Tesham Eva Nukam Parta Mahamagyana Jantamaha Nasyami Mamavato Ganadipinavaskata. Refresh them, otherwise you lose them. If you just memorize these 4 verses in the purports, you'll always be able to quote scripture for any situation you're in. They include everything. And most people will never figure out that you only know 4 verses. Now, how much do you need to know? Prabhupada says these diplomas are not for everybody. Basically, the books are not for everybody. Nanda Maharaj, would you sell a full set of Bhagavatams to Nanda Maharaj? You can't read. Tell him, okay, well, it doesn't matter. We don't care. The whole stuff, right? I don't care if you read or not. They buy the book. Yeah, take them home. Yeah, they're heavy. Use them. Yeah, Nanda Maharaj, Prabhupada says Nanda Maharaj could not read or write. What to speak of the girls? The girls. So they would go to puppet shows, they would go to lectures given by the Brahmins, and they would watch, and they knew everything. Prabhupada says Nanda Maharaj could not read or write. He would employ some educated fool to do it for him. So I'm talking about your software engineer. Working for a big company, giving a little, devices, So the books and stuff, they're not for everybody, but that's the idea. They give them to somebody, and they'll appreciate them. They pay for them. They say, hey, this guy, take this. You can use this. So it automatically will go out. Sankirtan mode. So that's the Bhakti Vedanta library, and we're distributing it. But yeah, we're giving people a whole connected library. Unbelievable! Wow. So any final questions or comments? Oh yeah, La pregunta última. No? La pregunta última.
Last question.
Oh yeah, see, which doesn't translate very well. Spanish, the last question is la pregunta última. It translates literally as the ultimate question. Why do you cut your hair that way? Yeah. Bless me. People ask, give a very intelligent lecture, and the people say, why do you cut your hair that way?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. You mentioned the importance of studying our scriptures.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask if you could share some helpful suggestions that have helped you assimilate and apply these teachings that we could use in our study of these books.
Wow, it's a very big question. Haribol. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hansaduta said he was driving Prabhupada, and Prabhupada asked him, "Why do you think I've written so many books?" Okay. And he started giving reasons like this and that, different things. Okay. And then there's some echo, what's happening? Ding, 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 ding. Oh, it's the other microphone. Huh? Turn it off. Turn it off?
It's off, yeah, because of
Yeah, okay. It does it with the other microphone. The Prophet said, no. He said, I've written all these books to convince you to chant Hare Krishna. If you're convinced to chant Hare Krishna, you don't have to read any of my books. And Hansaduta at that point had this realization that he was not convinced. And that means 24 hours a day in different circumstances, social circumstances, everything else. And then chanting, well, it gets pretty boring after the first few minutes, and so you have to find deeper and deeper reasons. Obviously, there are many mantras, but this is the Maha Mantra. Yeah. That's so the basic principle of developing taste and everything else for reading Prabhupada's books is chanting Hare Krishna. Kirtan before, kirtan afterwards, chanting your rounds, and then you're fine. Okay, yeah. There's a whole series of levels and so on. What is the verse? I forget it. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloki Bhakti Bhagavati Naistaki. Okay, yeah. By doing karma yoga by serving the Bhagavata. And Prabhupada said, have a Ratha Yatra for me, establish a temple for me, print a book for me. And Prabhupada came up with so many, everybody, he would just tell people, and just engage people. So Jayananda was like this. He would just, everybody give them some engagement they could do. You know? But when you do that, Prabhupada says, Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada says, that's experience. If you engage in devotional service, doing your karma mishra bhakti yoga, right? You're engaging in bhakti yoga, but it's coming from looking up through your karma, through your nature. Well, I can do that. You know? I don't like doing it, but this is what I do. Okay, so it's your karma. So you just do that for Krishna. Okay. Anybody fix automobiles? Well, I can. Okay. Yeah. So if you do that all day long, at the end, Prabhupada says, studying the Bhagavad Gita is extremely relishable. It's mysterious, but then when you're hearing in the evening, it just becomes, so wonderful. So engaging in do whatever you can do for Krishna. Many times he mentions that. He says, hear and chant all the time. And chant Hare Krishna all the time. But you can't do it. So therefore, do whatever you can do for Krishna nicely, not dog hard. So whatever you can do for Krishna nicely, just do it. And then what will happen is that will increase your attachment to hearing and chanting, which is the most potent and highest service. Okay? So, first initiation, basically Sambandha. I belong to ISKCON. ISKCON takes care of me. That's this Sambandha. Okay, I work there. I look my job applications out. Somebody writes back, you want to work for the Bank of Piggy? Yeah, I want to work for the Bank of Piggy. Come to this Thursday afternoon to this address. Okay, we saw your resume. We don't know if you're going to become a cashier, a guard, or what you're going to do. Management training line. You know they're going to pay, and I'm going to work. Sambandha. Okay. And after doing that for for 1 year, basically, this is the whole thing in ISKCON. Okay. Prabhupada said anybody who follows the principles, lives in the temple chants 16 rounds can be initiated after 6 months. We've changed that, and I think it's a deviation. We should go back to that for standard. Okay. But he said for second initiation, 1 year at least. And that's what the Vedas say, 1 year before initiation. That's 1 year before the real initiation, before the Vedic initiation, which is, what do you call it? It's okay, so then at the end of 1 year, but then you should have figured out by chanting, what is my varna and ashrama, My general nature is Shudra, Brahmana, Brahmana, Brahmana. Anytime I get involved in I was the temple president in Berkeley because nobody else could do it, anything else, but they got me out of there as soon as they could. Well, one of the reasons is because I can't lie. Yeah. Can you be a mother and little children without lying? No. Can you be a temple president without lying? No. Can you be a Kshatriya? Kshatriya Vaishya. Oh, this is part of the business. Everybody knows it. Yeah. But a Brahmana is just your nature is just, very difficult for me being a temple president. So as soon as possible, they got somebody else in there. But I did it. Because okay, it's necessary. Like, what is it? Like Ashvatthama is dead. I would say Ashvatthama is dead. So, by second initiation, and you begin to understand, what is this is what it is, and you understand what in Vedic culture, what is street dharma? What are ladies? What are men? How are we supposed to act? In the modern world, people don't know. Totally confused how men and women are supposed to act. That's for the level of varna ashram. There's varnas and ashram for the men, and street dharma is different. Among street dharma, then there's Vaishya ladies, Kshatriya ladies, Brahmana ladies, and everything else. In Sparta, when a boy reached, I think it was 14 years old, there was a ceremony where the Greek warriors, the Spartans, the mother would hand him a shield and say, now you're a man. You go out with your uncle and your cousins and your brothers and you defend the armors. Sparta, here's your shield, I'm giving it to you. You come back with it, or you come back on it. Are you a Kshatriya girl? They're tough. Yeah. But every other, again, Brahminical something else. So you begin to figure out, okay, this is where I fit in, and then you can take your place in the Sankirtan movement. So people are artists. Hey, how many books do you know the books? So that's, and then third initiation is Paramatma. Girls don't take it formally, but you have to become Goswami. Otherwise you can't become a pure devotee. Then you start to have inspiration, intuition, insight. The deities are talking with you, or, like that. So that's kind of progressive activities. Okay. So now we'll finish off a little more kirtan here, and then take prasadam. So it comes out of our nose and ears. Actually, Prabhupada didn't do Bhakti. Okay, well, I'll do it for follow Prabhupada's example. Vandeham Shri Gurau Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunath Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Shakan Vitam Cham Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Okay, the time of death, there's one mantra that will attract you to go back home, back to God, and to save your life. I'm now going to chant it. Sarira Avijujar Chandriyata Haikar Jive Felisaya Shogar Dharmache Jivayati Lobamoy Sadurmati Taka Jai Takotina Sangsare Krishna Bordoya Moy Koribare Jiva Joy Paparasana Delo Bai Sayana Mita Pau Radha Krishna Gunagao Emidako Chaitanya Nitai.
Premadapo Chaitanya Nitai.
Bhagavan Prasadam Ki Jai. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Sunday we'll be presenting. I'm going to go to Berkeley tomorrow, which I'm terrified because all these memories are going to come out. A piece of wood on the floor was for me to remember God, and it's like Krishna's going to protect me, all people. And then we'll go to Sacramento, see Dear Krishna Maharaj, we're going to greet everybody, and then come back around for the Sunday love feast. It's come to look about Fiesta de Amor. In Spanish it doesn't cut it. Translate Sunday love feast, right? Festival de Amor. It's like come to our love feast.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for leading us with such a beautiful discussion this evening. And we can see that you mentioned that the ride was such a bumpy ride when you joined this con and till the today. And we are so fortunate you are such a great role model. Always people like to join where everything is stable, but you had gone through that whole journey of the turbulence. And so all of us can be like, we are after coming 60 years or 50 years in this moment, but we are getting the fruits of whatever the great hardship that all of you went. So from deep of our heart, we are very grateful to all of your generation that giving us this opportunity to be here and discuss the Krishna Katha. And so what a great day to meet some original heroes of our moment here, and you are one of that heroes. So let's give a big round of applause. And following your footsteps, like we got His Grace Srivas Pandit who started Bhakti Sastri course, and we have this Bhakti Bhakti Vriksha program here, and many of the participants actually enrolled in that Bhakti Sastri course. So they are getting the systematic study of Bhagavad Gita through the help of Srivas Pandit, and that's coming from you to set up for all of us. So let's give another big round of applause to Hanumat. So, thank you so much for everyone for coming us on this Friday evening program. We are so delighted to have all of you. So let's give a big round of applause to each other for being here. And so I think some of you are the first time here. So let's chant.